Today we're going to be learning about loops. Before we start, let's make sure that you have a game board that looks like this. We have a 5x5, right? And you have game pieces such as these to use as barriers. And then something like this that would act as your robot today. So that way you'll be able to, go ahead and follow the code. Now, of course, if you would like something that's digital, we have something for you right here. It is available in the code.org platform. All you would do is just grab the robot and just move it around. It's very simple to use. You see this robot over here? So you would just go ahead and move it like so. And if you want to turn it to the right, you will use this circle. And then you can also turn it back. Of course, you can also use the barriers and place them anywhere you would like to. So that's how you use those pieces. So let's get back to our slide. So let's start our first activity. You have one command. It's called move forward. This command moves the robot one space forward in the direction that it is facing. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the program to move the robot to the purple box. But before we do this together, why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try it yourself first. Okay, we'll come back. Let's take a look. Yes, did you get the same answer? We had to use the move forward command 4 times to get the robot to the purple box. But I don't know if you noticed this code is repetitive. How can we simplify this? Introducing the while loop. Here's how it works. While something is true and this green diamond is the condition, the code in the while loop runs over and over and over again. So this is what you're supposed to be doing until this condition is no longer true. Let's try this. Run this program on your game board, and then together we'll try and figure out how this while loop works. Go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to have different iterations. So let's start with round 1. I'm going to go ahead and use my paper game board right here. And so this is the first thing that I'm going to be doing. First, I need to check my condition. And my condition says steps has to be less than 4. So while steps is less than 4, I'm going to do all those other stuff. And I check my variable steps, and right now it's 0. So my condition evaluates to true, and that means I'm going to move forward. So of course my robot was right here, but now I'm going to go ahead and move forward. There you go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 to steps, and now steps has 1. And so now we are done with one whole loop. So this is round 2. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do the exact same thing that I did and figure out where the robot goes next. Welcome back. Okay, so it's the same thing now. Checking the conditions. Steps has to be less than 4. Right now, steps is 1. So this evaluates to true. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. There you go. And then now I'm going to have to add 1 to steps. So steps gets 2. Here's round 3. This time, I'm not going to wait for you. The condition still evaluates to true. So I'm going to go ahead and move up again, and then I'm going to go ahead and add 1 to steps. So now steps gets 3. So now in round 4, same thing, check condition, evaluates to true. So that means I have to move forward. I'm going to be up here. Then I have to add 1 to steps. And now steps gets 4. So let's pause here in round 5, and I want you to go ahead and think about what's going to happen here in round 5. I'm already at the top, but technically we should be able to go up even higher. So let's see what's supposed to happen. Okay, so did you think about this? All right, so this is what's going to happen next. We're going to check our condition. It says steps has to be less than 4. Well, I looked at my variable steps and it has 4. I know that 4 is not less than 4. So this value is to false. In this case, now we're going to go ahead and exit the loop and we're done. So our robot gets to stay here. And you can see that here and also on my screen. So let's try this next one. And I want you to try it on your own and then think about what happens. Okay, pause the video. Welcome back. So let's see what happens. Oh no. Why does the robot run off the board? Okay, so the reason why the robot runs off the board is because in this while loop, we have the condition, and because the condition is met, steps is less than 4. Right now, steps is 0, right? So we keep moving forward. But then there's no other statement telling us to change the variable steps. So steps continue to stay at 0, which means this condition is forever met. And so our robot kept on moving forward. And so it's just going to go on and on and on, off to infinity. Let's try another activity. You have a new command. It's called turn right. This command turns the robot 90 degrees to the right. You're going to see a new program, pause the video, and run the program on your board. And then we'll go over this together. Pause the video. Welcome back. So this is what I did. First, I checked my steps. Steps had to be less than 4. When I looked in here, steps was 0, which means I was going to follow the directions here. So I'm going to move forward, and then I'm going to turn right. And then that will be the end of round 1. Okay. So what I didn't write here is that steps was 0, right? But now that I am done, I have to add right here. I have to add 1 to steps. So I'm going to cross this out. Whoopsie. And then put 1. Now I'm looking at the condition again. Steps is still less than 4 because steps is 1, right? So I'm going to go ahead and follow the directions, move forward and turn right. I'm moving forward and then I'm turning right. So then now I have to add 1 to steps right here. So I'm going to cross this out. Then I'm going to put 2. Okay, now I'm checking my condition again. Steps is still less than 4 because I have 2. So I'm going to move forward. And then I'm going to turn right again. And of course, I have to add 1 to steps. So cross out 2, and now I got 3. All right, so now let's move on and check our condition again. Is steps less than 4 still? Yeah, because I have 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow directions again. I'm going to move forward, and then I'm going to turn right. Okay. So then now I have to add 2 steps again. So let's see. I got 3, but if I add 1, 2, 3, I get 4. So now let's check the conditions. Steps has to be less than 4. Oh, but look, 4 is not less than 4, right? So that means I am done and we are out of the loop and my robot ends up here. So a while loop has 3 parts. The first part is a counting variable set to an initial value, which is right there. The second part is a Boolean expression which checks the condition of that variable. Because it only runs while it's true, right? So it's right there. The third part is a statement which increases or decreases the variable that is being checked. And that will be right there. Now, if this piece is missing, remember that robot that went up and up and up to infinity? You may create an infinite loop that never stops running or crashes your browser. So remember the very last piece. A for loop combines these 3 parts into one statement. So on the left, we have a while loop, and on the right, a for loop. So let's compare. So here's the variable. And of course, in the for loop, we have I. And the variable can be named anything, but is most commonly, I is the most commonly used variable name. Then here's the condition in the while loop, and same thing over here on the for loop. Finally, the statement that changes the variable is right there. So you can see that the for loop is a condensed version of a while loop. A loop is an example of iteration, a repetitive portion of an algorithm which repeats a specified number of times or until a given condition is met. You have another new command, turn left. This command turns the robot to the left 90 degrees. So run this program on your board and let's compare where we end up. This time I'm going to use the electronic version only. Pause the video. Welcome back. Okay, so here's round 1. I move forward, turn right, move forward, and turn left because I was 0 and the condition was met. Okay, so then now we have to add 1 to the I, remember? So there's a for loop. Okay. So now the condition is met again. So we're doing all of these things over here, right? So we're done with our second round. So now we have to add 1 to the I. So cross out the 1 and now we have 2, right? Now we check the condition again. I is still less than 3, right? Because I right now is 2. So let's do it one more time. Move forward, turn right, move forward, turn left. All right, so now we have to add 1 to the I again. Okay, so now I is equal to 3. I has 3. So as you can see, 3 is not less than 3. We're going to exit the loop, and that's where we end. Here's another one. Pause the video. I'm not going to explain this. I'm just going to show you the answer when you come back. Ready? Here you go. Round 1. Round 2. And look, our condition states that I is equal to or less than 2, and I is currently 2. So we can run it one more time. Of course, we're going to add 1 more to I, and it no longer meets the condition. So that is where our robot ends up. Here's another one. Pause the video. Welcome back. Let's see the answer. So we're done with round 1. And now I gets 1. So it's still less than 2. Let's do it again. Forward, turn left, move forward, move forward. Okay. Now we're going to add 1 to the I again. So I gets 2. 2 is not less than 2, so we are done. We're exiting the loop, and that's where the robot ends up. Let's make it a little bit more challenging. We have new commands that says can moves. These evaluate to true or false. They are dependent on the direction that the robot is facing currently. If a barrier or a wall is in the way, the Boolean expression evaluates to false. So let's see some examples here. The robot can move forward, right? Because there's nothing in front of the robot. So this evaluates to true. Same thing, the robot can move to the right, right? Because the right side of the robot right now is empty. So that evaluates to true. However, this robot cannot move to the left because there's a barrier on its left. So this would evaluate to false. Same thing, backwards, true. Forward is true. Moving right is true, but look, we cannot move to the left because there's a wall. So this evaluates to false. Same thing, the robot cannot move backwards because there's a barrier behind the robot. So this would evaluate to false. So I think we're ready now. Run this program. Where do you think the robot would end up? Pause the video. Welcome back. Let's see how it works. So let's remember I is at 0. It can't move right, and then it cannot move forward. So we just stop right there. So now we have to add 1 to I. It can move right, so we turn right and move forward, turn left. It can move forward too, so it moved forward. Now we're going to add 1. Cannot move to the right, cannot move forward. So we're going to stop right there, add 1, and we get 3. I gets 3. And of course, I has to be less than 3, right? So that is where the robot ends up. One more. Pause the video. Okay. So here's round 1, here's round 2, here's round 3, round 4, and that is where the robot stays. Ooh, this one was a little bit intense, wasn't it? Are you ready for a challenge? Set up a game board. Add as many barriers as you'd like. Write a program using a for loop to navigate the board from the bottom left and finish at the top right. So let me show you an example. Here's my game board, and I know I have to start from here and I have to end up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and randomly put my barriers. Here's 1, 2, and I'm going to use all 4. It's up to you whether you want to use all 4 or just 2. Well, we would like for you to use all 4. So how would you write your code? So have fun. What are the key takeaways from our lesson today? We learned about loops, and we learned about 2 different kinds, the while loop and the for loop. The while loop and the for loop is exactly the same thing, except that the for loop is a condensed version of a while loop. And that's it for today. Thank you so much.